What's up, everyone? What's up, everyone? Thank you for once again joining us here this Thursday for another episode of a Stoked Podcast. I am Javon Stokes. I always do this wrong, man. This is because I'm pointing to my left. You're on my right on the screens. To my right, Jamari Stokes. Welcome back after your brief sabbatical in the Cayman Islands.
You know, I have to make those little trips every so often.
All right. Seriously, thank you guys for showing up. This is the fourth episode. It's been fun. I've enjoyed this very immensely. I love talking to all the people we've had so far. But yeah, it's been great. I'm not gonna hold our guest in the waiting area too long. So let me hit the intro like always. So let's welcome to the show an incredibly talented artist and writer whose hilarious web comic strip Beware of Toddler has become an award-winning hit in the comics community. Please give a round of applause to George Gant.
Hey,
What's going on? Thank you for blessing us with your presence.
yo, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yes. I was going to give you the pastor. Bless you. Thank you for blessing us.
We passing around a plate too for the
Yeah. We always got to pass around the plate.
Okay. Well, look, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Oh no, we do. We appreciate you. You know, this
Very
is.
much so.
I've been very lucky to have the four people who I wanted to jump on my show all say yes and all be able to jump on. And I am a huge fan of Beware of Toddler. Huge fan. My wife is a huge fan of Beware of Toddler.
Oh, snap. Okay. Well, thank you.
She came to me and was like, "Oh, did you see this?" And then she's just like, "Oh, this is hilarious." So I'm just like, "Yes, I know. I kind of follow comics. It's kind of what I have to do." But she is a huge fan, and I'm definitely happy to have you on.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Yeah, we're just right now. We're showing some of your artwork. You are an amazing artist, man. I've been following you. I don't know when we started, when we became Facebook friends. I know I became Facebook friends with you probably like through Morgan and Danny, or maybe Greg, but somebody's. You know, it's kind of a tight community here.
Yeah, I think it's been a minute. I never know how. I just know that we do.
Yeah, I've been getting a lot of like friend requests lately, so it's like, yeah, sure. Never talked to you before, but we can be friends.
You know, yeah, I get a lot of them too, but like most of the ones I get, like everybody's cool, so I can't really complain too much. Like my Facebook is like fairly drama free, so it's all good.
Yeah, I got one guy who works my nerves, and I'm gonna get him on the show. He knows who he is, but it's all love though. But
I have heard of this.
I'm definitely gonna have him on this show to talk because it's gonna be a great debate. It's gonna be a great discussion. But we're not talking about him today.
Well now I want to know who it is.
No, I'm not putting him out on blast like that. Y'all know when he get on. Y'all know if he ever says yeah.
The stories continue to expand each time I hear about him. And for whatever strange reason, I can't continue. I don't remember what the person's name is, but
no, we're not going. We're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. But we're not talking about him today. We are talking about you, and you are the guest of honor tonight. So, as what has become the format, we're going to talk a little bit about you and your background, and then we're going to talk about some things that have happened in the world, and then we'll wrap it up with once again an ode to my other podcast, Top 5 Live. Don't know if you've watched it, but we do. We all come up with lists of our top 5, whatever, and then we usually argue. But on here, we just discuss.
Yeah, I've seen the list. Every once in a while, I'll just pop in and I'll silently judge. I be like judging y'all from a distance. I'm like, one of these days I'm gonna chime in. I'm gonna make my own list. Let's see what happens.
Dude, you
Absolutely.
can gladly come on the show. I know Morgan and Danny would gladly have you come on the show.
Okay.
We'll make that happen. All right, so first question. I always ask this for everyone because we all have different journeys. We all got to being artists from somewhere and somehow.
Mm-hmm.
But how did you get started as an artist, illustrator?
Well, with me, it was almost like a lifetime thing. Like I remember coming across a bunch of old like Calvin and Hobbes books as a kid. And like Calvin and Hobbes in like Bloom County, Garfield, Peanuts, like all of them, like just the books. And I would just sit and I read them for hours.
Okay.
And I wasn't never like the biggest comic guy, but like, those struck a chord with me.
Nice.
Like,
so you were already in that comic strip vein. Like that's where you started. Okay.
That's where I started. And around the same time I started drawing for myself. Just Ninja Turtles and Mario pretty much the whole time. I was always drawing Turtles, I was always drawing Mario, and I was always drawing Sonic. Somewhere like down the line, I thought about just drawing comics. Like I've always wanted to draw cartoons, but as far as like comics themselves, I finally like actually tried it. Like I tried it in school. I draw little comics, and I actually found myself like doing comics in the school newspaper.
Okay.
I won some citywide awards for that actually.
Nice.
Uh, uh, put that to the side. You grow up, things happen. Um, and I actually got back into it in college just because I was bored and I wasn't really feeling it, to be honest.
Yeah.
And around this
Feeling
time,
college? You weren't feeling college?
I wasn't feeling
Where'd you
college.
go?
I was at East West University at the time.
Okay.
Because like besides comics, my other passion is computers. So I was going for I went to school for graphic design at one point, and then I went to school for IT, and somewhere along the lines, I'm sitting in this class, is like bored out of my mind, and I start thinking of just like returning to comics. Like let me do something with comics. Web comics are starting to blow up. This is around the time of Penny Arcade, and around the time of the Boondock Strip.
Oh, okay.
So like I started working on these characters. A couple of years later, I dropped my first web comic. Um, and then it was like off to the races. Beware Toddler. And that was like 15 years ago. I've been doing this for 15 years.
Wow.
Yeah, no, it's crazy.
Was On the Grind your first one?
No. My first one was actually I don't know if you're familiar with my Reset Button comic.
Sounds familiar.
It was like the video game themed web comic, but the one that you might know is actually the second incarnation.
Okay.
And I did one once before as my very first web comic. It was like a Family Guy-esque comic strip that took place in the video game world. Wasn't very good. I was being a 20-something, like a 20-year-old person trying to make comics with those sensibilities and that mindset. It was a bad comic.
I feel like everybody who does comics has that like bad comic where like you think back and you're like, man, that was awful. I've had mine. I got like 2. So I get it.
No, they were bad. But that's what led me to doing On the Grind. Around the time I thought I'd try to take it seriously. And at this point, like I'm thinking, hey, I want to make something. I want to try to get syndicated. I didn't know what I was doing. My comics weren't very good, but I tried it anyway, and I tried that with On the Grind. And I didn't get syndicated or anything like that, obviously, but I did that comic for a long time, and even to this day, that's the longest running webcomic that I have.
Oh, nice.
Um, and of course, then the Reset Button version 2, which is the kids comic, and then after that, Beware Toddler.
And like Beware Toddler has been like, it's funny. It's we all kind of follow each other, and we kind of keep track each other thanks to Facebook. And I feel like I remember there was a point where you made a point to say, I think I need to take this Beware of Toddler thing to as far as you can go. Like you said something, I can't remember, but I wish I could find the Facebook post. But you said something that, well, I want to do this and this, but Beware the Toddler has been touching people more so than this. So I guess I need to, stay with this. And then so am I wrong? Did you feel like you had a moment where, okay, let me see how this rides out?
No, I absolutely did, and it was less that it was my moment, and more or less what everybody else was telling me.
Right.
Like I put out that first comic, and like a lot of people liked it. Actually, at that time, like right before I created Beware Toddler, I wasn't sure if I wanted to keep doing comics.
Okay.
Because you do a web comic, it's very hard to get eyes on it. It's even harder to get feedback. And with that version of Reset Button, because it was essentially a kid's webcomic,
Right.
I didn't think that it will work on the account of what kids are going to be scouring the internet looking for like kids comics,
Right. Right.
like you'd be better off with like books and things like that. But around that time, my daughter, she was like a week or two away from well, she had just turned 2 somewhere around that time, and she did something like silly. Me and her, we were playing, and I tried to hide somewhere, and I'm sitting there thinking she'd never find me, and she like found me like right away. Like one of those things where like you think that she saw me hide and whatnot. So I thought it was funny that how she found me, and so I drew it. I drew it into a comic,
Okay.
and like on the fly, like I'm just like bam, bam, bam. I came up with the comic, the art for the characters, which is kind of loosely based on myself and my daughter at the time. And then Beware Toddler like just popped in my head just like that. And I put it online, and like more people like that comic than they have anything that I've done in years. So I'm sitting there thinking, you know what, people are digging this. Let's do it again. Let's see what happens. I make that second comic, and it nearly goes viral.
Wow.
Um, and I've got people telling me, "Hey, you got a hit on your hands. You need to do something with this." And and I keep doing them, and I keep doing them. Um, I like start the Facebook page, and the Facebook page gets like 500 followers like that. Um, and then that's when it really hit me like, hey, I need to do something with this. So here we are. It's been 2.5 years since that point. Um, and I got the Glyph Award. I got 3 other Glyph nominations behind that.
Wow.
I Ringo nomination. I got a Webtoon nomination. I got the Kickstarter was crazy. Like it's crazy. It's still crazy to me.
Yeah, I mean, I got to be honest. Like, it's such a simple idea, but
It is.
it like, and maybe I caught it at the right time. I have a 3-year-old son, so everything you have posted, every scenario you posted, I have personally went through. So I'm laughing every time. Like, I'm trying to think of one scenario that uh I All right, so I'm gonna pull one of my favorites. This is the one where if people are watching it, where she wants juice, and you like no, and then she makes her own juice, and all I can think about is my son, and the fact that he loves purple juice. So like the juice, like it just hit me as soon as I saw that one. I was like, man, I just started dying.
Man, well, I mean, they're like that, man. Them toddlers, they love juice. It is insane.
It's like crack. It's like crack to them.
I know. It's like they get that hit of sugar, and it's just like it's a wrap.
And it's like they're just bouncing off the walls, man. It's like the way toddlers like react to sugar is nothing I've ever seen before I had a toddler. Like I've been around kids, I've babysat kids, but I never knew like how impactful and how long lasting sugar is for them.
It is. I have a perfect comparison to it, but I can't say it because I think I want to put it in a future comic. But
okay,
I will say
I will hold you to the fire for that one.
Sugar is to a toddler like a certain other say cartoon character is with a certain vegetable. I'll just leave it that. I'll leave it at that.
I got you.
And
I got you.
I know it's simple. If you know, you know.
No, I won't. Nope. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, I want to write that one soon. But yeah, it's just that with the comic, that's one of the things that I actually like struggle with is I try to keep it as simple as I can because I know I will take it off the rails.
Yeah.
So and I think because it's so simple and it's such a simple idea and so many people can relate to it that it catches on well. And I personally like to think that because it's not like say a Caillou in which I'm trying to reach out to preschoolers or things like that. It's something that I'm trying to reach out to both the parent and child. Um, like some comics, if you notice, are kind of told from the viewpoint of the toddler herself, and others are kind of told from the viewpoint of the dad. And then also, I want to have like that. I try to give it like a classic cartoon Tom and Jerry type feel to it.
Right. Right.
And for whatever reason, like all these things put together, just like is what makes Beware Toddler. And I think that so many people can relate to it because hey, this reminds me of my favorite cartoons. This reminds me of my own childhood. This reminds me of my kid. And like I could not be any luckier with coming up with that concept.
Yeah. I'm always talking, like I love my character Heat, like I love my comic book, but like Beware of Toddler is something that can just cross age range, like everything, like that. Like that's lightning in a bottle, man. Like I'm not gonna say I'm jealous, but I'm just not gonna, but I'm gonna say congratulations. I'm not gonna say I'm jealous.
Don't be jealous. Well, think about it this way. It took me 15 years to get to this point.
Right.
Like
it's so hard. It really is so difficult
to
come up with that, like that Paw Patrol, that that thing that people just gravitate to and I love this. You go through so many different things.
It is. And I don't even know what to say. Like it's weird. Like because I've been doing this for so long, and to see people gravitate to this thing, it's weird. Like I don't know how to act. I don't know what to do. Like what do I do? Now I'm just like worried that I need to make sure that people continue to like this comic and that I can keep it fresh and I can keep it entertaining. And it's hard. It's gotten really hard,
I think that's a very interesting thought that you bring up. The idea of when you find success and then you start to become aware of it and wondering how do I keep it or how do I continue to evolve it. Where do you think that thought process might take you? Where is it at right now, and where do you think it'll take you maybe just a year or two down the road?
I don't really know, and that's just because I'm not a planner.
Hmm.
Like full disclosure, 90% of those cartoons I drew the day before I uploaded it. I wrote half of it on the spot. Um, so I
That's
like it.
that's freaking impressive.
It no, it's just hard to plan. It's just very hard for me to like. It's hard for me to find the time to sit down and actually write something out and plan something out. Um, but
Do you go art first, or do you go art first or writing first?
well, with me, it's like I'll have a general idea of what I like to do. Um, and I'll like I don't write anything down. Like it's like in my head. I'll come up with like a basic script, and then I'll sit down and I'll draw it out, and then I'll flesh out the script as I'm drawing.
Okay.
Um, because the comics aren't long, it's not like I'm like doing like a 4 or 5 page thing. Um, it's literally like 4 panels, maybe 8 panels a week. It's easier for me to be able to do that than if I were say to write like an entire like 24 page story. There's no way I'd be able to pull it off like doing what I'm doing now.
Yeah, they suck. I'm in the
Oh,
middle. I'm in the middle of
mm,
one right now. I'm halfway through mine, so and I'm doing it start to finish. So, yeah, I kind of
yeah, it's
envy,
hard.
3-4 panels and just like I've tried it, but my brain doesn't work that way because it's like set up. What is it? Set up, gag, twist, or set up, twist, gag, or no, set up, twist, punchline. Right? Am
Yeah,
I saying
it's
that right?
basically everything that you do should be in service of the punchline.
Right. Right.
And so everything just set up then punchline basically. Um,
Okay.
sometimes you can have a setup gag then punchline, depending on what it is. Like if like the gag is like the third panel and it's like an actual action thing, set up gag punchline. Otherwise, set up punchline. So I try to come up with the punchline. I do try to come up with the punchline first. Punchline combined with like a general idea of what I like to do. Something that I know toddlers do. Something that I know parents do. Something that my daughter has done before. Um, I take like those ideas and I try to use that in service of the actual punchline.
All right.
And most of the time, it works.
Now, do you come up with the idea when something happens, or you just combing through your mind and going, what's happened that's been funny, or you know
Uh,
what I mean? Like, how does that process work?
both actually. In the beginning, like a lot of the early comics, that's just stuff that happened. Like just like straight up things that's happened with my daughter and myself. Then over time, I'd come up with things that I noticed that my daughter does, and just like mannerisms that she does that I think would be funny. Um, but now it's more or less I've got this comic, I've got these characters, I can just come up with the stories and things like that because you know these characters and you know how they act. Um, I don't need to rely on things that's happened so much.
Right.
And a lot of my more recent comics that I've been playing around with are like actually like little mini sequels to earlier comics.
Okay.
So like you could take like two different comics like in different times of the comic strip and realize that they're actually probably part of one single storyline.
So you are slowly creating your toddler verse.
Kind of, kind of. Yeah, into the Tylerverse.
I'm surprised you haven't done a spinoff with the brother.
Um, man, I don't have time for. I've thought about it. I have thought about it because much like how the Tyler is loosely based on my daughter, the Big Brother character was loosely based on my son.
Okay.
Um, and I with him, um, I don't know what I'd do to be honest. If
Well,
anything,
if you do, I just want 5% of that. 5% of that. Just give me 5% of
I gotta get 5% for myself first.
that.
Mm.
Now
I'm poor.
you're an artist at an actual like firm, right? I believe it's I don't know if you want to put your job out there. But,
Not really. I'm still very much like freelancer, but
okay.
I do have some pretty decent clients. Like I draw a comic strip called Angel Face
Okay.
for the Beano.
Yeah, that's what I saw. Yeah.
That is the longest running children's news magazine, kids magazine in the
Oh
UK.
wow. Oh nice. How that association happened?
Um, they reached out to me.
Oh,
Like pretty much everything that I have right now is a result of somebody reaching out to me. Like I don't reach out to anybody. It's weird.
that's hey, listen, that's a blessing. When you get to the
It,
part where people are coming for you, you didn't made it. I'm still
uh,
trying to get there.
so it's pretty nice. So like that's like one thing that I do, like this comic strip on a regular basis. Um, I have another comic related thing that I'm working on that I have not talked about yet because it hasn't been announced.
Okay.
Um, but I've done other things like I've worked on the Hero Cats of Stellar City books. I lettered like a lot of those. I've worked on like I've worked on more books than I'm letting on right now.
That's fine. That's fine. Do you have anything that you can talk about coming up?
Coming up, I can't.
Ah,
Wow.
I can't get one scoop.
Because this next comic project is a big one. It's gonna basically like keep me busy for the entire year. Um, and then I've got something else Toddler related that I cannot talk about just yet. Also,
Okay. All right. I
um,
won't press you. This isn't the Associated Press.
but no, I got some things. I'm trying to remember like all the books that I've worked on. But so there's Angel Face. There was Hero Cats of Stellar City. Um, just like lettering and coloring things. I did the Ensnana book, the last Ensnana book.
Oh, I
Um,
have that. Yeah. Hold on. Wait. Here we go.
yes,
I keep things close.
yes,
Sorry, Chad. I don't have that JPEG. My bad.
that was a fun book to draw, man.
Oh yeah,
I really
Greg's
enjoyed
great.
it.
I gotta get Greg on my show.
He is,
I gotta get him on my show.
he is, he's awesome. He's like probably like one of my favorite comics people, like just like all around. And I'm really like I was honored like they asked me to work on that book. And we're gonna work on something else soon. Just gotta find the time, man.
I know it's hard, man. It's tough to find time to do the things that you feel have been successful and that you're also passionate about.
It is, and especially like because we have small children. When you add
Yeah,
that to the mix and you're trying to do what you need to do, and it gets like way harder.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I like I said, I got a 3-year-old, and I got to get my work done either when he sleeps or when he's not here.
that's I'm in the same boat. I've got a 4-year-old. She's like kind of hovering around like Jaws.
Oh,
So,
okay, all right.
but
Tell
she's
her
in
I said
preschool
hi
now.
and thank you for all the entertainment.
She me? Oh, wait, the Tyler because she's fully aware that the comic is a thing.
Really?
Yeah, she's it's funny in the sense where like I think with her because her personality in itself is really silly and funny. Like if somebody made like a Beware Tyler thing and like created a character based on this, um and I had nothing to do with it, she'd still be perfect as the Tyler.
Yeah.
So but yeah.
All right. Okay. I thought Jamari had to step away for a second. Let's see. I actually do have one more thing before he gets in. Do you have any artistic influences?
Yes. I it's weird. Like all my influences are weird because like I am like greatly influenced by Bill Watterson, Calvin House creator. Um, I'm influenced by like a lot of the like Sunday morning funnies, like the comic strips. Um, a lot of the stuff from like the 80s and 90s. I'm like influenced by that. I'm a little bit influenced by Garfield, just a bit. But at the same time, I'm also influenced by like a lot of the artwork from like early 90s, like late 80s, early 90s, like video games.
I can see that. I can
Like,
see that.
like
It's
I'm
all in your style. Like you look, and I'm almost certain I've seen you do Mario and Luigi artists, pieces like that, and it totally fits what you do.
yeah. Oh, I'm sure of it. I'm a massive video game nerd. I'm a game head. I've got cases behind me right now. I've been like collecting like old school stuff. Like I can talk video games all day long.
My other show, Top Five Live, and I'm gonna do something they might not be happy with, but I know we've been talking about doing top five video games. We're doing a show for top five video games, so um, yeah, I think we can have you on. I think you might enjoy that one.
If I'm
Oh
not
man,
involved with
I
that,
can
I'm
do
gonna
that.
have problems, sir.
That's right. I forget. I forget how many video game heads that I know, and I'm not one. I used to be. I haven't picked up a video game controller since my son, maybe like a couple of months after my son was born.
Oh man, like
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of time for things, but I'll play a video game.
Well, you know what it
Yeah.
is like everything for um for me when I even like look and think about playing a video game, then I'm like, you know what? I got. What are you doing, Jamal?
I have no idea. He's just
That's
here.
why.
He's getting his
That's,
food, and it's
I
you
mean,
do what you do
listen.
with
I know
space
you
you
try.
have.
We don't have many female viewers, but they're not coming for you. Tell them they're not coming for you, man. Put a shirt on,
Are you here to drum up female viewership? Is that your purpose?
Jamal. Put a shirt on. I feel weird that I got to tell you this more than once. What's up, man? Anyway, yeah. Like for me, when I put on when I want to play video games, I'm like, all right, I am gonna sit down and play video games. But then I'm like, but I really got to finish that page, or I really got to finish flatting, or I really got to write this script, or I'm supposed to be on a podcast, or I got to put this. So
There's always something to do.
yeah, there's always something. So like the time that my downtime is usually watching sports.
Well, it's funny.
So
Like a lot of what you said is actually kind of in like tomorrow's comic. I'm not even lying. I'm dead serious. Like it's
okay,
done, it's finished, and all of that. But
all right.
yeah, no, it is. It's very difficult. Like with me, like if I'm like working, sometimes like I have another screen to my left, so like I'll like play something like work, do this, work, do this. Otherwise, I'd like lose my mind.
Really, I could
Yeah,
not do that. I mean, I watch TV while I'm drawing. You know
no,
what I
that's
mean?
hard.
Like,
That's hard to me.
well, I'm only watching. I'm watching something that I've already seen before,
Oh, okay.
so I'm just listening to it. Like
Okay.
right now, I'm binge watching Entourage for like the third time,
That's what
and
I'm.
so say what?
Let's say I think I do that with like The Office and like Rick and Morty. But
Right. Well, let's see. I just finished How to Get Away with Murder again.
Mhm.
I've done binge watches of Grey's Anatomy like 3 times. Uh, all the Marvel shows I've binge watched at least 2 or 3 times, except for Iron Fist. I don't think I've ever watched that one again.
you know what? I didn't hate
I
Iron
still
Fist.
not
I'm
watched
not
it.
gonna lie.
Really?
I didn't.
still
I. It wasn't like the best show in the world, but I didn't hate it. It was like it
I
was
didn't
okay.
hate it, but it was like,
Don't watch it twice, but
oh, I ain't watching it twice. Come on now. I mean, I'm not trying to dog nobody out, but I ain't watching it twice.
Right.
So, George, I gotta say, listening to you recount the things that inspired you, and you went down there, I feel like you went through my same childhood because all of those comics you talked about, Bloom Country and Calvin and Hobbes, and all you clearly going through the same Sunday comics I was going through,
Yeah,
and
like
yeah, I still keep my old Revenge of the Babysat book from Calvin and Hobbes and Weirdos from Another Planet. I keep those in my classroom with my kids along with my Boondock stuff. So, and you even mentioned Penny Arcade, which I was like, he's got to be a gamer if he's talking about Penny Arcade. Did you ever read anything like Mega Tokyo, or what are some of your game? You said Sonic or and Mario. What are some of your big gaming influences or big touchstones for that as well?
for that, it was more like the games themselves. Like I read a
Mhm.
lot of PD Arcade. I used to read VG Cats.
I know that one.
Um, and with that one, with like around that time, I was also like working on my own when I was doing like my Reset Button webcomic. Um, but as far as other like gaming media like that, I didn't really like the gaming media that's not games. In my opinion, like the best stuff is like the more recent stuff, like the Wreck-It Ralph movies,
Hmm.
um, Free Guy, which was so much better than it had any right to be.
Oh my gosh, you're right.
I haven't even seen that. I haven't even gotten to
It,
it yet.
it is. He used the exact best phrasing for that movie. It has no right to be that entertaining and
I've
that
heard it's
good.
I've heard it's really good.
They're making a
Is it?
sequel.
Are they?
I believe they're making a sequel for it because it did well. It got a lot of attention. People were really surprised at how well it was put together, and yeah, it was definitely whoever made that. They definitely had some real gaming roots.
Yeah, it's really good. I'm trying to think. There's one more I can't remember. Oh, Scott Pilgrim.
I'm a little
Um,
too upset on that one.
I haven't read the books, but I've seen the movie a million times. I
I like
bought the
Scott
game
Pilgrim. That was good.
twice.
Yeah. Oh, you
Uh,
did. You bought this. So you bought it when it came back out.
yep.
There was a game.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, really
Very
good
good.
game too.
I'm
Very
sorry,
good
y'all.
game.
I'm not a big. I told you. I'm when they talk about gaming for me, like Madden. Oh, I
Continue.
love Madden. I'll play Madden. I'll play 2K. What else?
I'm terrible at both.
What really?
Yeah, like it's weird. Like I like football. I'm terrible at everything about football. Um, I kind of like basketball, but I'm more like a NBA Jam person.
I love
Like
NBA Jam.
I
Oh
still
yeah.
play NBA Jam. Um,
I
like
loved NBA Jam. Actually, you know what I liked, and it was like a big. It wasn't a big deal, but like, me and my boy used to play NBA Street, not
yeah, Street
NFL
was
Street,
good.
NFL Street.
Street
Oh,
Volume 2 is a
Love.
classic.
both of those were really good. Like that whole era, like of video games was like those and like Def Jam.
Oh, I love Def
I
Jam
went back
Vendetta.
recently and played Fight for New York.
I
Oh
loved
Crazy.
it.
man, Fight
Loved
for New
it.
York was like so good. Like that kind of stuff. Like that whole era of video games. Was
Actually,
just like
the game I was addicted to when I was in college,
Mhm.
uh, WWE No Mercy.
Woo! Woo! We had
I
beef
have
Yes.
in the dorm for that with that one.
I have
We
I probably had carpal tunnel because of that game.
Oh man, junior and senior year of high school, that's all we played. Like I'm a wrestling guy too. So like
Are we
I,
gonna
I
talk about it? I knew you were a
Okay.
wrestling guy. We're gonna talk about it
oh
because
yeah,
I'm a
you
wrestling
see it
guy.
in the comic. You see the wrestling influences in the comic too.
I assumed as much. I said he's gotta love wrestling for how many
So
RKOs had in his had like
so
3 or 4 RKOs already.
RKO, I think I did the Hell in a Cell spot.
That's right. Yeah, yeah. So
I,
well, since we're on it,
mhm.
what do you think of because this just happened with Cody Rhodes going back to WWE.
I think I mean it's going to happen. Like the writing's on the wall. It's going to happen. I think he's trying to do all the things that that the Miz has done. Basically, he's trying to. I think he's going to try to come back to WWE and use WWE as a way to boost his profile outside of wrestling. Because you know
But
he has
it's
those.
weird because he didn't need it though. I don't feel like he needed it.
But isn't that eventually the move that most of those guys want to make? Because they've all seen The Rock, and now they're seeing Batista build themselves outside of the business itself.
Yeah, but
Exactly.
he was a EVP at AEW. Like he was a big dog there.
Yeah, but he wasn't getting movie roles. Like
The Rock just got through doing he introduced the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but it's
Yeah.
not like I don't know. I don't know. Like I worry that it's not gonna go well for him.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna say that's theory number one. That's theory number one. Theory number two is he's probably going back to maybe like get the rights of all those things his father created.
Okay.
Like all those pay-per-views that Dusty created, all those things, all those match types, all that kind of stuff. I can see Cody going back like for that reason, for like a legacy type thing. Because like WWE owns like a lot of his father's things.
You know, I thought that too. I thought maybe he's trying to follow his dad's path because his dad kind of did the same thing. His dad went away and then came back. And so I was like, okay, but I just feel like you went from having. So I heard that he's leaving. He left because he didn't get enough booking power. And I'm like, you ain't gonna get booking power in WWE.
They're gonna get even less now.
Yeah. Like I don't want. I just thought he had a good thing with AEW. I don't like the. It feels like a step down to me.
I guess.
Because even the Miz ain't main eventing now.
He's not, but he's getting on Dance with the Stars, and he's getting on this, and he's getting on that. Like all the things that the Miz is doing is outside of wrestling, but it's happening because of wrestling.
The Miz is kind of a weird example too, because he originated outside of wrestling and came into it.
Yeah,
like he's almost a happy accident.
Yeah, you know what, that too.
Yeah, there's no reason for him to be that good. There's no reason for the Miz to have been successful. Like, no, I mean, and I don't mean it in a bad way. I mean it as in, like, when you think about like Tough Enough, like how many of them guys actually became something in the WWE, and for him to actually not only become something, but become something with longevity. Like Miz has been doing this since when did Tough Enough?
He's been around for a while. He was before really because he started. People knew who he was from MTV and came in, and that's just so weird. I've never seen that.
I mean, which Real World was he in? He was on an early Real World
a long time ago. That's what he was.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know which one, but I don't know, man. But I just think that Cody's probably trying to do one of those two things.
Yeah.
Or I don't know, man. This is weird. This whole it's only been a day. It's only been a day, but like it's just a weird situation.
Just to kind of give you an idea how long that guy's been on TV, he was on Railroad 2001.
I was in high school.
I was say junior.
I think I graduated that year.
College?
Yeah. So he started.
Yeah. Jeez, please.
Yeah, he started then. He was on the Railroad Road Rules Challenge in 2002, and it pretty much went from there. And you got to give him credit because if you go back and look at those videos and you see that dude put in work to get where he is.
Yeah, he deserves the credit. It's just weird.
Yeah. There's no other way to describe it. It's just like, yeah, this is a weird move, but
The
all
only
right,
thing,
man.
the only time, couple of
Whatever
times
makes
I've
you
seen-
happy.
Yeah, the only people I've seen that somehow came out of nowhere into something else, and I wouldn't even call it. It's not the same because the Miz has kept his career. Is like Mr. T, because he did have a flirtation with
He never really. I mean, his
He
flirtation
did a
was like,
bit, you know.
Yeah,
that was
it
just
more
like,
of a bit.
hey, yeah, that wasn't really anything.
Yeah,
All right, so I want to touch on some things before, while we had. I don't want to keep you on all night. I mean, we could talk all night. I mean, honestly, I really could. But,
I'm sure I could ask you some stuff about video games that would, that'd spark up a couple of things.
Oh
what
man, I wouldn't stop talking.
we'll get.
We just gotta have you back.
We're gonna circle back. Yeah, we can definitely have you back. But we're gonna circle back. Have you watched any of the Bel-Air show?
I have not. Like I'm behind on TV. Like I'm behind on TV. Like the last thing I watched was Abbott Elementary.
I love Abbott Elementary.
It's so good. That's like the only thing I've watched. Like I watched during the Super Bowl. Instead of watching the game, I finally watched Boba Fett because my wife kept telling me, you need to watch Boba Fett. You need to watch Boba Fett. And like, so I watched that and I watched Abbott Elementary, and that's like the only TV I watched in like the last month.
How much of Abbott have you watched?
I watched everything until not the most recent episode, but the one before that. So maybe I'll watch it tonight and then I'll be fully caught up. But it's good, man. It's
really good.
Like that's the kind of show I would want to work on.
Yeah, that's another one of those like simple ideas that I think like every screenwriter in Hollywood is like
knocking their hands on that.
Elementary school. Wow, how did I not think of that? Like
I can tell you, as a teacher, we're almost all watching that one. And
that's what I heard. I heard every teacher loves it.
It's one of the, I love it. I'm laughing and crying on the inside because too much of it is too real, especially the whole, we're always trying to get money for this and that. And I was just like, oh.
Every time I watch it, I'm like, I can never be a teacher. I know, man. Like I am a okay, so I live in Chicago, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like our school system has been in the news a lot lately.
Oh, okay.
Because
I know some of this, but not a whole lot.
Like the CPS stuff. Basically, long story short, our kids were home for like extra 4 days because they couldn't get their act together. The city and the union, all of that. But every time I watch Abbott Elementary, I'm thinking like they're going to talk about our school system next. and I cannot wait because I'm a CPS parent and a former CPS kid, and like it's that show is really good because it's so funny, but at the same time it does shed light on all these issues that go on within the school system. And in my opinion, I think that like I hope that's the show that gets like all the eyes on it because that could be like the next Office, you know?
I was just thinking that. Yeah, it's the only show I've ever seen that keeps the spirit of The Office and without all the problematic stuff.
Yeah. Like it's so well done.
Like I enjoy it on every level, whereas like The Office, I enjoy it on some levels. I can't stand Michael Scott.
I feel like
really.
I feel like The Office.
I can't.
Like that's one.
No, Dwight and Jim. Dwight and Jim are the only reason not the only reason, but the main reason I watched the show.
No,
I came to The Office late. So
I did too, though.
Yeah. And
see,
I didn't watch it when it was on TV.
Me neither. I binge watched it, and it's funny because like my friends were telling me, they're like, at the time, Michael Scott was kind of funny, but like when you watch it like now, it's really problematic. Like you know what I mean? Like when it was happening, you know, people didn't like it. It was definitely like a product of the time that it was in, because now like you know if you catch on to The Office late, you're like, dude, I can't stand this guy. Like I'm kind of tired. Hold on, Jamal, put a shirt on.
I watched it the first episode.
I'm gonna put like a, what do you call it?
You gonna blur him out?
I'm gonna blur you out in a second, man.
The pixelated, your pixelated.
Oh man, I love my cousin, man. I love my cousin. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Yeah, Office.
No, I'm just saying, like, what I remember distinctly watching the very first episode, and I was like, "Ain't no way I'm gonna finish this show."
That's exactly how I felt.
The third episode is the one that said, "Okay, I'm gonna stick with it. I'm gonna stick with it." And
wait, which was the third episode?
Why he was funny, and I understood why people liked him. But just as you mentioned, I felt like he's such a product of the era that it came out of, and the people I got the most the characters I got the most enjoyment out of was Dwight, was Jim, were the guys in the warehouse, Stan, like all of those characters I thought were hilarious. And Michael Scott was always habitually line stepping to the point where I was like, wait a minute, this is supposed to be one of the most celebrated characters on TV?
He killed bits for me.
Well, I also think it depends on when you're like when you're watching, not like at what point of the show you're watching. Because that first season, yeah, he's like borderline unbearable. And
borderline for me.
And considering the source material, he's supposed to be.
Right. He's supposed to be. They softened him up. Like if you started like season 2 onwards, you see like he's gotten better. Like season 1, like they tried to make him like to be like the worst character on the show.
He absolutely was the worst character on the show. I will say the episode that made me keep watching was the basketball one. That was the show. That one kept me watching. Like I was
in a warehouse.
Yeah, the one where in the warehouse. But the best episode, and I'll fight. I will die on this hill. The best episode was the one with the fire drill.
Oh, when they start, didn't they start the fire?
Yeah, when Dwight started the fire, that opening sequence. The first time I saw it, I had to pause the show because I was like on the ground, rolling around, dying laughing. So I couldn't catch my breath. It was that funny to me.
Oh man, I love it. I love
when Oscar crawls through the seat. He's like, "There's no time. Like, I'm only 98 pounds."
I remember that.
But then, like Mike, like the bit is great all the way to the end, and then the whole when Stanley has a heart attack and he's screaming, "You're black." It just killed the whole thing for me. I was just like, all right.
Come on, Michael.
Yeah, it's like, come on, man. Like I could talk about that all.
So
I can talk about my disdain for Michael Scott for a long time.
Well, I will say also this: the show definitely hit a decline when he was not on the show. It's kind of
when it got better for me.
No,
really?
I didn't feel like that was the case.
Dude, as much as loved the episodes without Michael Scott.
As much as I like him, I understood what he was necessary, but at the same time, God, he had moments where I just wanted to be like, I'd have to smack him. I'd have to smack him and just be done with it.
Well, I'll for me, it's like Michael at his worst, in my opinion, was still funnier than say like Andy at his worst. Like when they had Andy take over,
I give you that. I give you that. That was yeah.
I did the different guest hosts they had coming in as the boss for a minute, like Idris Elba randomly on the show.
Now that was funny. Idris was funny.
Well, he was on the show a couple of times. He was all throughout like the second and third season, wasn't
He pops up. He's on there for a hot second.
No, he's only on one season. I'm almost certain.
I knew he was on. He was on. For
remember, because he takes over.
Yeah,
he takes over, and then I believe at the end of the season, they do like the outing, the picnic outing.
Oh yeah,
and then that's the last we see of him, like forever.
Now, because I know I
might go rewatch it too.
Because Javon loves this. Both of us love this show. Did you watch New Girl?
I have not.
Oh my goodness!
I know I should.
That show, that show is hilarious.
I know I should. I haven't. I don't know why I haven't. I will.
You definitely have to. No, that's a show, especially like if you like New Girl. I mean, if you like The Office,
Friends.
Actually, no. Like, I think Friends is very like regular sitcom funny. And don't get me wrong, I love Friends, but New Girl is like, if you like Family Guy, you might like New Girl. Because remember, think about all like the little things, the flash forwards or whatever that they do. They do that in New Girl.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was really big into Family Guy back in the day. Like,
I think everybody was.
Mm-hmm.
Like even now, I'll pop it from time to time. I still watch The Simpsons, to be honest.
I watch the older ones.
Oh, this season is actually good. I don't know what they did, but they actually made The Simpsons good again. Like, I'm not lying. Like,
when I had cable, I watched.
I haven't watched a new episode of The Simpsons since the Family Guy crossover.
Oh man, that was a minute ago.
And that was the first time I had watched one since like 1999.
Wow. Yeah,
it like, to me, the quality of funny, I don't know, humor is the word I'm looking for. The quality of humor went down, especially when Conan O'Brien left the show.
Right.
When Conan O'Brien left the show, it stopped being as funny and then became like, I don't know. It was like trying too hard.
Yeah.
But the first 8 seasons, I want to say 8.
I feel like it's a show that became it has become different television shows over the course of its time. Like, you would not, like you said, you wouldn't recognize The Simpsons from the beginning. If you showed somebody an episode from the first season of The Simpsons and then showed them a current one, you'd be like, these are not the same shows. Homer is not the same character. Bart is not the same character. All of that it's so drastic. And then you could probably pick 3 points where the show drastically shifts.
Yeah. I would say around like 98, 99 is when, to me, the shift happened, and surprising enough, that's around the time that I graduated from high school, and maybe my taste changed. It's very possible that my taste could have changed, and I could have probably not really been feeling it anymore. But those first few seasons, they were on fire.
I know they were magical. I think there were like 2 I think there were like 2 points like where like that really affected the show. One was Conan O'Brien leaving, and the other one was Phil Hartman's death.
Yeah.
And that's really when the show started to change. And I mean, like, and that's that's one of the shows that I'll just have on in the background while I'm doing something else.
My son watches The Simpsons now. 3 years old, watches The Simpsons. I won't let him watch the newer episodes, but he watches the old ones. You don't know good humor, son.
Season 4.
Pull old ones up now.
Say what?
Season 4 and 8 was. Oh
no, go ahead. I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
You can just pull them up on
Disney
Plus and everything.
It comes on FX now, so I just take my chances. Like, if it's on, I'll pop it on for him, And he'll tell me, he'll like, "Oh, this is Simpsons, Daddy. I want to watch The Simpsons." I'm like, definitely my son.
But no, I'm not. I'm like, they're actually trying. I'll just say that they're actually trying with this season.
Okay. All
But
right. Maybe I'll pop my head in. Maybe I'll pop my head in. So let me. Were you able to watch the Doctor Strange trailer?
I watched a breakdown of the Doctor Strange trailer. Like I was trying to watch it, and then like the other day, like my wife was watching like people review the trailer, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like listening to what they have to say, and I'm sitting there thinking, this looks good, but that seems like something I just want to watch and not know anything about.
Oh yeah, I'm done. I don't need to see anything else. I don't need to see no more trailers for me. I'm good.
Because the minute they start talking about Professor X, and I'm just like, you know what? Let
Leave it
me
alone.
stop. Because I love the X-Men, and I want to be surprised. Like if I'm going to go out there and risk my health for a movie, I want to be surprised.
Do you have a favorite X-Men?
I do, but I'm not getting clowned tonight.
No, go ahead. Listen, I know my favorite X-Men. People clown me about my favorite X-Men. I'm a Cyclops guy.
Okay, thank God I'm Cyclops guy too.
Oh, so both of you are
Cyclops is the best.
fans?
I don't know what you want us to. I mean, I'm not going to trust me. Cyclops is the man.
Like I'm like a Cyclops Leonardo type character person.
You like leaders. That's all right. I'm right there with you.
I like leaders. I'm no leader, but I like leaders. Like Cyclops, Leonardo. I was a big Power Ranger guy, but I never really had a favorite. That's like the one show that like I love Zach for the obvious reasons. I like Tommy, I like Jason.
Every black person.
Every
black person.
You had no choice.
Encoded in our DNA.
You had no choice.
Right. Like you have to like Zach, but he wasn't the leader character. And the leader characters, they flip flop back and forth all the time. And
the Red Ranger was whack. He was whack. And he got even more whack when the White Ranger showed up.
You know what? I actually liked him as Jason. I actually liked him as the Gold Ranger though. Like
now you lost me.
No, because I like the outfit. Like it's just like all black and gold.
No, I didn't know there was a Gold Ranger.
Yeah, man. I watched for like
that was after my time.
Seasons. I was done after like the 5th season, but I like Zach.
You still watch it, Jamari?
No. Oh. I know people who do. So, and in fact, I know a guy who cosplays Power Rangers heavily. So, he'll tell me all the time, oh, this happened, or he'll update me on something. And I'm like, really? Okay, I didn't know that. So every now and then I will, because I know a couple of them are still involved. The original Blue Ranger, he was involved for a long time, apparently. And the guys who do Bulk and Skull have been around in that forever.
Really?
Yeah, they were writing for it at one point and occasionally popping their heads in some kind of way.
Hey, listen, you lean into the curve, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, I did like the Green Ranger because the Green Ranger just showed up kicking everybody's behind.
Took out everybody.
He was murking everybody left and right.
Five episodes straight, just nonstop.
Just kicking their butt for 5 episodes.
And you're sitting there like, what's going on here?
He literally opened the door to Megazord and started whooping everybody. He's just like, oh, Megazord. Hey. And I remember I was in high school and I was just like, whoa.
Yeah, man, that was epic. My son is actually starting to get into Power Rangers. Like I bought like a bunch of the old video games.
Okay.
Because I've been collecting. And so like after school, I'll pick him up. We come home and we'll just play through the games. And some of the early games actually like follow the show, so we actually got to see the whole Green Ranger saga in video game form.
Right.
And then I told him like, hey, now we have to watch the show. We haven't done it yet, but we will.
So I'm gonna ask the question I thought Jamari was gonna ask, but I'm gonna ask him. Do you have a favorite video game?
That's a tough one.
I got a different question in mind. I want to hear this one though.
If I had to say any video game, right now would be my favorite. Uh, it might be Fallout 3, maybe even Fallout 4.
Ooh.
Okay.
Um, 'Cause I'm a big Fallout Elder Scrolls person. Because I like all sorts of different genres. So it's weird. Like, one day it'll be Fallout 3, the next day it'll be Halo 3. The next day it will be Street Fighter 3. Um,
Ooh.
Street Fighter.
but like I love fighting games. I love first person shooters. I love RPGs.
What other fighting games do you play? I need to know this.
Oh man, I bought King of Fighters 15 last night.
Oh.
So I played it once. So I'll probably like try to dive into that when I have time. But I love Street Fighter. I love Mortal Kombat. Going back to Power Rangers, I've been playing like a lot of Power Rangers Battle for the Grid lately.
I was about to ask about that.
Oh, it's so good. That's the Marvel vs. Capcom game that we haven't had in the last few years.
Are you reading or have you read the Power Ranger comics?
I have not. I have not, but I've heard they were really good.
Yeah, I was gonna say I urge you to take a look at those. Though they're doing some really fun things with those, and so yeah, I think that would be something. If you're heading back and looking into all of that, that'd be fun. At one point, I was competition good at Tekken. Dark Resurrection was my choice, and I can hold my own. Put in. You mentioned Street Fighter 3. That's work. That's real work right there. Because that's a deep cut.
Oh man, no, I love fighting. Like I've done a couple Tekken tournaments. When I was in like right after high school, I worked in like an arcade.
Mm-hmm.
We had this like the big Tekken 4 machine, and they would have tournaments like every other month. And I play in those. I get wrecked, but I was in them.
Accept it.
Like, I'm okay. I'm all right at Tekken. I'm better at Street Fighter. I can hold my own in Mortal Kombat.
What character you picking in Street Fighter?
Street Fighter. I am a Ken main.
Good man.
How do you pronounce it? Ryu? Was it you?
Sure, man. Every other day it's changing. It's either Ryu or Ryu.
Whatever. That's my dude. I'm a Ryu dude. I will get anybody. I don't care.
That sounds like a challenge, yo.
Listen, anytime I pick it up, I pick Ryu. It's over. I stand behind that, and I can see Chad's face making all kinds of faces right now. That's all right. Listen,
don't maybe pull up Street Fighter 5. I'll hold you to that.
I'll play. I'll do some work on. It used to be.
Let me blow the dust off my PS4.
my proving grounds for Tekken are two places. The tournaments here in Atlanta when I was younger, and the arcades in Korea where I was getting roasted, but it was still fun. I mean, and it was. And when I say it's a different animal watching and playing against these cats over there compared to what I'm playing here, and I had to like change my whole style of play up to play with them because it was like playing against some kind of programmed bot that just had every counter you could think of. So it was completely.
Kids don't do nothing but play video games, man. I would never play against a kid right now.
Oh no, it wasn't just kids because it was the arcades over there. I was playing in the arcades. I would at least once a week I would go in, put in about 2-3 hours in that arcade for about a year, and I could play that. And I held my own in Street Fighter 4.
I can't even imagine that right now. Like I can't imagine playing video games for 2-3 hours.
Hey, I did.
That's how long it's been.
They look, they don't see too many
so
big black dudes
right
anymore.
I've never felt older because I'm sitting here going, yo, I cannot imagine sitting in front of my TV with a controller in my hand playing for 2-3 hours. I played. So my wife got me the PS4 for Christmas. Mm-hmm. And she got me I think it was like Madden, whatever the Madden was with Antonio Brown on the cover.
Okay.
That's the one she got me. And then the Spider-Man game that had come out at that time. And I remember I played the Spider-Man game for maybe an hour and some change, and I was just like, okay, I got stuff to do. And then that was when we had the baby, and so that's when he was little, and when they that little, you got to hold them all the time. So I think I stopped playing video games. I stopped watching like certain TV shows because I remember I was sitting there watching The Punisher, and I had my son in my lap, and I was like, this can't be good for him at all. So let me turn this off. That was it. And that was the end. That was the end of video games for me at that moment. Now, hopefully he gets older, maybe we'll come back around to it. Either that or if I become a millionaire.
He's going to want to play.
Well, I can tell you right now that's absolutely going to happen. In about like 2-3 years, you're going to see nothing but Minecraft and
Fortnite. I got teenagers.
Fortnite,
I got teenagers.
Oh, so
I got teenagers. They're about Minecraft and everything, but those games don't seem fun to me.
I dabbled in Minecraft for a bit. You
play Minecraft, Jamar?
Nah. I got students that do. Like they play those. They play Legends. They play Warzone. They are definitely into Battle Royale and multiplayer games. And it's kind of interesting because I will listen to them or they'll come to me with something, and I kind of compare it to when I was like hardcore into it. And I still play, but I don't play as much of the same stuff that they do. Every now and then there's a crossover.
I was a big Halo guy for a while.
I played a fair bit of Halo, particularly Halo 3.
I had a friend.
I spent years in Halo 3.
Yeah, I had a friend who was like, he went to UConn, and he had his own like apartment, and we would just go over there, and we were playing Halo for like 4 or 5 hours at a time, just like over and over and over again, and that was it for quite a bit. Between that and Madden. Now Madden, oh my gosh, marathon sessions of Madden. Like just passing it like it's weed. Like here's your controller, you go, your turn.
I was never like amazing at Madden, but I've been around enough people. It's crazy when you're in the room when people are playing $1,000 a game, and you're
That's
like
crazy.
Yeah, so like
wow.
When I was I used to be
who's betting $1,000 on
dude, it's wild seeing that mess.
Like $1,000 in the same spot, really?
$1,000 on the spot. You pick the controller up. That's a G.
Yeah, right the people spot. Who are putting $1,000 down for Madden are probably in the streets.
No, these were some of them were some of the guys doing Madden Nation stuff.
That's still a lot of money for
like they play it like they played for money regularly. It was kind of crazy.
Wow.
We ran our tournaments and the side bets going on, $100 on a game on the side bets, and I'm just like, that's the first time I'm seeing it. I'm like, should we even be letting people do this in here?
I mean, I'm good at Madden, but I ain't $100 on a game good at Madden.
I walked in there with like $5.
Be like, hey, this is my 5.
And I will place it down. I would hesitate, and then I'll place it down. I would get destroyed.
I'm like, y'all got change? I got $5. Y'all got change?
I need some of that for the bus, please.
Who's my team? I used to love. I mean, I'm a Patriots fan, so I was always playing. What Madden was it? Oh, I can't remember. I think it was the Madden when it was Gronk and Hernandez in it, and I was just wrecking shop on everyone. And then it was the Madden with the 2007 Madden with Randy Moss was at his peak, where he was a cheat code.
That's like
I used to.
No, what were you saying?
What year was that? 2004 Madden. And when everybody plays Michael Vick.
Oh,
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We used to have to tell people no. Like you'd have to pick another team because it's not fair.
That was like the only team I could play as and actually win. Like Other than that, I would never win, especially like now because I always play as like my hometown teams, and I live in Chicago.
Oof.
I will never
Mm,
win,
Yeah, I
and I
can't
will
say
never
that.
win again.
mm, mm. We'll pray for you.
That
Maybe
that
I,
that those
We'll pass the offering plate around for you for that one.
like
those years with Vic were
You
so
guys
much
need
fun.
some help in Chicago.
we
Just look,
need,
you got Justin Fields though.
yeah, but look what that has done this year. Like nothing against
Get him
Justin
a
Fields,
coach. Y'all got to get him a coach.
Get him a line. Get him an
Yeah, that and
offensive
a line.
line.
but they need everything, man. I didn't even watch anything this season. Like I watched all of last season, but I couldn't even watch this season.
See, when I hear you say that, the rage that builds in my body, because I'm from Connecticut and we don't have a team. So the people who do have teams and that don't watch their teams make me angry.
I know I feel bad. I've worked at Soldier Field before, and I'm just like I can't, man. Maybe next year, but I'm tired of being hurt. Y'all
I,
don't know.
I
You
know your
guys are
pain.
so
I
spoiled.
know your pain.
How are we
Listen,
spoiled? We
we
are
do
going to
not
Super
need
Bowl.
another discourse on the Atlanta Falcons. All right.
I
You guys
wasn't
made
gonna
it to
say
the Super Bowl.
anymore, other than I know his pain.
Man, we haven't been to the Super Bowl in what 13? Wait, was that 15 years
2008,
now?
2008,
The
2009, I think.
Was it
The
2008?
Rex year.
That was Rex Grossman.
And before that, I was a baby. I was like 3. I was a toddler. My beware toddler moment was watching the Super Bowl in '86.
You still got a team though. We in Connecticut, you got to pick one. You either a Patriots fan or a Giants fan, or you ended up being a fan of another team for some reason. Actually, there's a lot of Cowboys fans here. Cowboys and Steelers fans.
Really?
Cowboys fans are everywhere.
Yeah, there's a lot
I
of
don't
Cowboys and
understand
Steelers.
it.
It's because
I
that's
guess
who
it
they
was
were
the
playing.
holdovers from the '90s.
Well, yeah, well, you got to think about it. The Cowboys and the Steelers, they get a lot of like primetime games. They get a lot of like national games. So, if you don't have a team in your city, you're either picking up on one of the closer teams or you're going to pick on the one that you see all the time. But you got a ton of people who like my friend is a Buffalo Bills fan, and he's a Buffalo Bills fan because his dad's a Buffalo Bills fan because his dad's from Buffalo. Or, I have another friend who's a Vikings fan because he was a fan of Cunningham, I believe. You just latch on to a team that, you like. So, I mean, it's kind of nice because you can go to like a Buffalo Wild Wings and there's fans of like every team. Whereas I would love to feel the experience of going to like a Buffalo Wild Wings and everybody's a fan of the same team. That feels like it'd be really cool.
I can see that. I actually didn't think about it that way. I didn't think of it that way.
Yeah, it's like a hodgepodge here. Like when I go watch the games, you will see fans of every single team. Bengals fans, Bills fans, Jacksonville fans. I've seen every single fan of every single team here in Connecticut. Because you get more Giants fans, or you get a lot of Giants fans. You definitely get a lot of Patriots fans because they're the close. We share the borders with them. But like, I mean, the stuff we do have, like UConn, everybody reps UConn, even if they didn't go to UConn. They rep UConn. I didn't go to UConn, but I rep UConn.
I see that.
I can see that.
I totally understand that. I did not go to Georgia, but they won. So.
Do you rep like Chicago college teams? Even
I have zero knowledge of Chicago. I am completely out of the loop when it comes to college sports. It's insane. Like because me like I said earlier, like I try to catch up on like the NFL stuff. I try to catch up a little less with the NBA stuff. But with me, I was watching wrestling every week.
You got the Bulls right there.
You grew up in the glory days of the Bulls.
For like, you have no idea how much you're frustrating me. Dude, if we had a team in my city, I would try to have like season tickets.
I will say, like, we are spoiled when it comes to the Bulls because they're doing really well this year.
Yeah.
And United Center is close to family. So I like when I was growing up, every year when they won,
Mhm.
like just like our neighborhood, just like the streets were just full of people. Like it was wild. That was special, but I would have been too young to understand at the time. So yeah, I mean, maybe I'm a little spoiled. I mean, I like drove past the United Center just the other day, and I didn't think nothing of it. So maybe you're right.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not judging you now, but I'm judging you.
Uh,
So so we got about 10 minutes. Okay.
okay.
So at the end of every show, we like to do a top 5 list.
Okay.
Right. So my question to you is, and I was gonna do one, but I kind of want you to come on the top 5 show when we do talk video games to give your top 5 video games. So I'm gonna do something different. Your top 5 comic strip characters.
Oh man.
Ooh.
Okay. All right. Top five. All right. So
Oh, you got to rank them 5 to 1.
I was just gonna say, is this in any order? Oh man.
Yeah.
Okay. Number one. I feel like just on general principle, number one has to be Snoopy. Um,
Okay.
because he's probably the most recognizable. Like you can say Charlie Brown, but I think Snoopy's even more recognizable.
Okay.
If you think about like all the brand deals and stuff like that. Number two is Calvin. Um, because that's the comic strip that really got me on this journey. And I don't know if I could put Calvin and Hobbes together. Um, but number two,
I'll allow it. I'll allow it. I'll
okay, so
allow it.
number two would be Calvin and Hobbes.
Okay.
I'm trying to do this without interjecting the toddler in it. If you notice,
Listen, we know that's number 1 in your heart. So.
okay. Number three, you know what? I'm going to say number three might be Rat from Pearls Before Swine. Um, like I love characters that are jerks. I'm sorry, but like that's right. That's probably, in my opinion, like the funniest modern comic strip any out there right now. Number four. Now, number four, like I'm leaning towards Huey Freeman. Um,
Okay. Okay.
Huey Freeman would be number four. I and here like I'm conflicting like because I'm thinking about both the comic strip character and the cartoon character at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I'll give it to Huey Freeman for number four. Um, I like Riley. Riley actually reminds me of my brother and it kind of gets on my nerves. Of one of my brothers, so it gets on my nerves. Um, but number five, oh boy, my number five, fifth favorite cartoon comic book strip character. Jeez, like it's kind of a toss up because you have Garfield, you have Dennis the Menace. Oh man, you have Curtis. Like I love Curtis growing up. Um, and I'm also trying to approach this as like are these the characters like my favorite now or my favorite when I was growing up? I don't know. Like I love Bill the Cat from Bloom County growing up. Um, the family from Jumpstart. Man, why you do this to me? Oh
I have to
man.
do this every week, so that's why I do it. I have to
You know,
do it every week, so I do it for my guests.
you know what? My number five is gonna be a controversial one because he's a cop. And my number five might actually be Dick Tracy.
That's a good one. That's a real good one.
Ooh.
That's a
I
real good one.
I read a lot of Dick Tracy books as a kid. I loved the movie growing up.
Oh, I love
Um,
that movie.
And it's hard to think about it because like Dick Tracy is nowhere today.
I
Um,
know. It's so weird.
well, yeah, you know why, right? Basically, there's just weird rights things going on between like Warren Beatty, Disney, and like it's a mess.
Warren Beatty.
Ooh.
Yeah, I think I don't know if he owns certain rights, but he's been trying to greenlight a sequel for like forever.
Yeah, but you think that there would be at least like a comic book. Like there's tons of like, you know what I mean?
Oh,
Like
the
I
comic
haven't
strips
even
are still in rotation. Like they're still making comic strips, but outside of
really.
that, that's like it. Yeah.
But that's what I'm
Oh,
saying. You would think that a character like Dick Tracy would be made into like a full length, like floppy comic book. Like that's it's just kind of surprising how it hasn't made that leap. Or even like a cartoon. Like I'm
yeah.
surprised like a cartoon Dick Tracy would kill.
Like in the '90s, like the fact that Dick Tracy cartoon never happened in the '90s is
Is
astounding.
insane.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, they had an interesting NES Dick Tracy game.
Yeah,
I feel like I remember that.
I have that in the other room right now. I'm gonna hop on eBay like whenever I get paid. I'm gonna hop on eBay. I'm trying to get the Genesis version too, uh,
Okay.
for my collection. But yeah, I tried to play that game recently, and it is not easy. Like,
No.
None,
like
but you know what though? Back then, I swear they went out of their way to make them hard. Every game harder. At least I feel like.
Game design was an obtuse
I
art back
mean,
then.
well,
that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game, that first one,
Mm.
I've broken more things in my house playing that game than I can think of.
that's one of my New Year's resolutions is to actually beat that game this year.
I honestly, if I ever play that game again, I don't know if I have the patience or the tolerance to endure it because I would that water level. I swear to you, right now, like I'm having a visceral reaction to that. Like all the feelings are rushing back to me, and
You
all
know,
I can feel is the
Yeah.
frustration of how old was I? 11, 12-year-old me going, no, this is impossible.
I
So
funny you mentioned that water level. I have an illustration. I actually drew that level out maybe about a year
ooh,
ago. It's unfinished, but whenever I get a time to actually like do some fan art, because I used to do fan art like crazy. I want to finish that water level drawing, and then I want to beat that game this year. I'm actively trying. Like I'm trying to beat Dark Souls too. So like those are like my goals for this year. I'm like, dude, if I can do all this stuff with Beware Tyler, if I can like get all these people to read my comic and get this award and all this stuff and do this Kickstarter, I should be able to beat Dark Souls.
Like,
so are you gonna try Elden Ring when it comes out?
Yeah, I had some rewards from Best Buy, so I was actually able to pre-order Elden Ring, and get it for like $15.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll get that next week. Right now I'm doing Dark Souls, a little bit of Demon Souls, and Bloodborne.
So what you're saying is you've cracked about 10 controllers.
No, not well. I cracked one. Um, but with Dark Souls, it's like as hard as that game is, once you figure it out, it's not that hard. Like certain parts, like once you realize, hey, you can sidestep or you can parry this, it gets a bit easy. And if you kind of treat Dark Souls almost like a fighting game, uh, as far as defense, it does get a bit easier. Like I just blew through like a bunch of levels last week. I'm stuck now, but I blew through a bunch of levels last week just like off this philosophy. Bloodborne not as much because you can't really block like you can on Dark Souls.
Got you.
Um, and I'm still in the beginning of Demon Souls, so that's gonna be a minute. But Elden Ring, I got that coming. Sekiro, I need to go back to that because I've done like a little bit of that. What else? I don't know, man. Like I said, I play a lot of video games. That's like
That's
the
all
only thing
right.
I
That's all right.
That aha moment with the Souls games. I'm trying 3. I'm trying Dark Souls 3, and it's still not something I feel comfortable playing on my own without help or anything, because I don't know. It's just it has all the things in it that just don't resonate with me immediately. So it's like I want to enjoy myself when I sit down and play, and this game is not letting me do that.
Oh, sorry, my bad. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, yeah, that game is a beast. I actually stopped playing 3 so I can go back and try to deal with 1 and 2 first. And the way it's looking, I'll probably be able to get through 1, maybe 3, but I struggle with 2. I don't know why.
So I want to give you, because we're running out of time. I would love to talk longer, and we're definitely going to have you back on very soon because I've enjoyed this conversation, and I'm pretty sure we have not even scratched the surface of your love affair with video games and wrestling and all the things of that nature. So before we leave, do you want to shout anything out, any people out, any projects?
Man, how come I always draw a blank? I always have people in mind and I always forget like to call them out. But of course, you know, the is not a books. All the Beano stuff. If you're in the UK, you know what the Beano is. What else? Like there are things that I know for a fact, but I'm drawing an absolute blank at.
Well, I'm gonna help you out. Go to bewareoftoddler.com to
Which I will be
view all of the amazing comic strips. They are hilarious. Please share.
Yes.
Let everybody know. Please share everything, guys. Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. GOAGANTART. There you go. I got you. Go on Instagram, go on Twitter, go on Facebook. Please share. Because web comics, this is how they grow. And we want George to be a massive hit. We want him to be such a big hit that he starts turning us down to come back, because that's when we know that George has been big time. When I got to talk to his agent instead of talking to him, that's how big we want him.
Oh, come on!
But not before I play him a couple of times in either Cap SNK or something.
He's gonna have his assistant play you and pretend to be him. But we want to thank you. We want to thank you for coming on again. And like I said, we're definitely gonna have you on again. We're gonna make that happen.
Yes.
We're gonna try and schedule that real soon.
Yeah, man, that would be absolutely
I've enjoyed this. And look out for the next Beware of Toddler coming.
Next comic is coming tomorrow, and I didn't even talk about the book. Oh my god! And
go ahead.
Of course, be on the lookout for Toddlerhood, which is the Beware Toddler book. I'm just waiting for it to come back from the printers. I'm going to do my Kickstarter fulfillment, and as soon as that's done, I will have a concrete date for general purpose.
Okay, I'm definitely gonna look at that. I think I might have. I supported the Kickstarter. Like, I don't want to put my foot in my mouth, but I feel like I did. I feel like I did because I wanted to give it to my son. But if I didn't, I'm definitely going to be right there to buy it.
Yeah, I'll make sure. I'll definitely make sure I have one for you. If you didn't, if you did, I'm just waiting on the books.
I feel like I did. Somebody took money on my account. I don't know. Kickstarter. You do so many Kickstarters. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, I've supported like at least 10. in the last few months. And so like I
Me
just
too.
get books to just show up and I'm like, oh, did I? Oh, okay, cool, sure. All right. Yeah,
Yeah.
thanks.
It's like little presents to yourself.
Yeah, they're like little presents that you forgot that you actually paid for.
Like, man, I forgot I backed this.
Yeah, like I did. Oh, okay, cool. Thank you. But yes, thank you once again, George Gant, creator of Beware of Toddler, www.bewareoftoddler.com. And we thank you for coming by, and we'll definitely keep in touch to make this happen.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
All right. Thank you, everybody, once again. Next week, we have visionary director, Michael Cook, stopping by to talk about all things filmmaking. And before he comes on, guys, look out for his Across the Track short film that's on Amazon Prime. And thank you, guys. Till next week.